Alright guys, I am back on the NC750. Today we are going to be doing some deliveries on this thing. Hopefully it's not going to rain anymore. It's been raining on and off. And I haven't been doing a lot of delivery. So we have one. Actually they're telling me to go to Taco Bell. But I can't do this one because we already have a $10 one from Bella in Laurel. I haven't picked up there in ages. And yeah, it just rained here. I'm not big into deliveries in the rain. We're picking up a $10 order from Bella Indian in Laurel. On the NC, it's actually better, I think, to do deliveries on the NC around here because it's more open. You can do like longer miles and higher pay. And on the little scooters, I mean, if I go on the highway, they'll cope, but this thing is just like so much nicer on the highway. And of course, this is DCT. If you guys don't know what that is, it's the dual clutch transmission that Honda puts in their bikes. Africa Twins, Gold Wings, and I've had two NCs with DCT. And it's surprisingly good for delivery because, you know, when you're doing delivery, you want to have one hand free to, well, touch your phone. And it's nicer. It's like less things to do when you're riding. So you can put it in sport mode or normal mode, and they also have an option. There's a button here where my index is on my right hand. You can absolutely turn it off, but it's not a complete off. It still will, if it starts lugging, it will start to shift the gears for you. But it's a whole lot better, so if you click it, that disappears, and now I can use the paddle shifters on the left to go down or up. But honestly, I like to keep it and just drive. This is the problem with the old DCT that I had, the 700. It had the same paddle shifters, but it was useless. Like, it's like, what's the point? It actually made things much more complex. I like that this has sport mode and then normal mode, but the paddle shifting, not needed. I guess Honda really wanted to do that, but it's really not needed. Doing deliveries on a bike will really let you know what the bike is capable of long term. When I do deliveries, I mean, I will stack 12 hours of going on and off. And I have to admit, the scooter is still the best, but this is quite good. The biggest issue is the gas tank being in the rear seat and it not having a top rack. But if I put a top rack, it'll definitely help. It just having the thing back there just makes it much harder to refuel. The reason you want one of these for commuting and why it's such a brilliant commuter, it is absolutely the most efficient large bike I've ever seen. You're talking about 87 miles to the gallon. Like right now I'm getting 74 miles to the gallon. That's almost like, that's actually better than the Riva. You know, the Riva, for an old little bike, they're not as fuel efficient as the new scooters. So like that thing gets like 85 miles to the gallon. This actually gets better gas mileage than that little Riva. And I rode the Riva in the morning, and it's a great bike. I love riding it. But this has got better suspension. Also, another thing about the suspension on this, it's not great. And it's like overly stiff, especially in the front. Around here, we have these ripples on the road, and when you hit it, this bike just jumps up in the air. It's the same thing with the old NC750 I had from 2018. Same thing with the NC700. You know, Honda made this into a commuter bike, but they made it unrideable in commuting settings. If you're riding in commuting settings, you're going to like a city where there's tons of potholes, and this bike doesn't really cope that well with imperfect roads. Another thing I think this bike should have had from the beginning is a 19-inch front wheel. Like, just give us a 19-inch front wheel. You know, it's an ADV styled bike. It doesn't need 17s all around. Just change the freaking wheel sizes. And of course, the rear drive, you know, you have a chain and sprockets. I wish I had a shaft drive. I know that they're not going to do it anymore, but they can do it. Look, they had shaft drives on older bikes, middleweight bikes, like the NT750, the Deauville, the PC800, the Shadow, the Ascot. They can do a middleweight shaft-driven bike. This bike is not supposed to be about horsepower. It's a slow bike. And I know it would rob a little bit more MPGs, but honestly, I would give 2-3 MPGs to get a shaft-driven bike. Because this would make a killer bike. You know, we need good middleweights. We don't have really great middleweights anymore. You're talking about maybe the Versys and the V-Strom, and this is a good middleweight, but they can improve it so much more. All right, we are going to be going here. It looks like there's a new restaurant popping up here soon. Kamaria Yemen. Coffee, nice. So we're going to go to Bella. This restaurant might not look like much from the outside, but it is quite good and very popular. And look at this, no keyless ignition. Keyless ignition is so good for doing deliveries. It's the on and off that you have to. And here's our order. So this place is a combination of Indian and Italian. Fusion, if you will. This is, look at that. That will fit it perfectly. If it was bigger, that would be a no-go. Turning around is a little harder on this. The scooters are effortless. Whew. When you stop, you feel that heat. By the way, if you notice, I removed the windscreen on this because it's so hot. It's been so hot. I haven't been riding the Goldwing because that bike is difficult to ride when it's freaking hot. And by the way, I might be trading that bike. Stay tuned, because I might be trading it for another DCT bike, but it might be a little bit cooler. I like the Goldwing, but man, that thing takes up a lot of space. Okay, I'll tell you, I can't hold back. I might be trading for a Honda Africa Twin DCT, so we'll see. But I have to go to Indiana, so I'm going to like trailer the bike or ride it. I'm not sure. This bike is really quite nice, but it's not perfect. And Honda could have made it a perfect bike. Perfect, you know, keyless ignition, improved front suspension. The front suspension is just so stiff, and it doesn't have a lot of adjustability. And every bike that I've gotten, the NCs have been a disappointment with the front suspension. And of course that shaft drive. I need that shaft drive. You know, I'll keep a bike for a long time if it has a shaft drive. I don't want to have to do chain maintenance. Hey, what lane you going? This guy doesn't know what lane he's going. It's a fun bike, but compared to what? These things are not meant to be exciting. That's the thing with the NCs. They're meant to be just workhorses. These are the bikes I've seen super high mileages on these engines because they're so low revving. They have a high life expectancy. Very durable engines, very easy to work on. And it's got good Honda reliability. The engines are simple, and I think that's what I like about them. You know, like with the Ducati, too much complexity. Just too much. Whew, mission accomplished, guys. And now we're gonna go to BJ's for a DoorDash. They always give you a strike if you're late, so you have to be careful. Yeah, this little thing is quite quick. But you know, there's also the thing, like sometimes you're next to a car at a red light and you want to take off. But if you're in econ mode, it's not going to really beat a car. But if you're in sport mode, it's quite quick. And if you're a 6-speed transmission, you don't have ever those choices, which is good because you could always be fast or slow. You know, sometimes like when you want to take off and the car is really not racing, but you think is racing, then you can kind of just wind it down. I've seen some of the limitations of this bike riding with the sport bikes and stuff, having to like downshift, and you really have to spool it up quite a bit in order for it to work. Whew, man, it's gonna rain again, isn't it? The modern scooters are so good. They're so reliable. You know, I have close to 20,000 miles on the ADV 150. And the bike still rides perfectly fine. And then you see Wilser and his ADV 160 is gone. Like something happened to it. That guy doesn't have good luck with vehicles. I think he just rides, he stacks so many miles. Now he's got a Yamaha X-Max. That's the problem. You just keep going bigger and bigger, and eventually you realize that going small is better. But also, if you're doing delivery and stuff, you're going to put a lot of miles on bikes, and sometimes you're just not going to get like any value back on your bikes, and it's kind of unfortunate. Here is a... On this, it's better to just back it up. Alright, let's go get this for Ralph. Boy, it's hot. Hi, pick it up for Ralph. Okay. Alright, I got the order from BJ's. Let's go and get this delivered. I've been in that restaurant several times. I actually avoid it because it takes too long. This is what this bike likes. A little bit more of an open road, you know, not too fast. On the little ADV, you know, it's capable. I've done this hundreds of times and it's great. But man, there's got to be something about this bike, you know, having a little bit more power that you can just like twist the throttle and be comfortable on the entire ride. Alright, mission accomplished. Now we got a Grubhub for $16. Why do they put the handle so far down? It's uncomfortable. Are these buildings for midgets? Seriously, why do they put handles everywhere so far down? You ever wonder about that? Okay, pay attention. When you go to a store, notice that the handles are like so far down for an average person. I guess they want to accommodate everybody, but everybody that have average height has to suffer. Well, anyway, we're about to go back to where we started and pick up from Olive on the Main. It's a fancy little restaurant. It's always packed on the weekends. We're starting to get some decent offers here, but we're picking up a $16 here from Olive on the Main. Yeah, I'm just going to place myself here. What? Oh, it's right here. My bad. How's it going? All right, I got the order. Another downside of this bike is the seat is uncomfortable. The stock seat is uncomfortable. It's too hard. It's not, after 50 miles, you're going to start to feel it. This might be one of the most uncomfortable seats I've ever had on any bike. It's funny, like when you drop off an order at Leave at Door one, you just walk away. They wait until you walk away. You turn around, and the food is gone, and like not even a word. It's very interesting. I actually think, out of courtesy, if you're going to do that, wait until the driver leaves the vicinity, just 30 seconds more. Usually, like, people go, hey, thank you. But yeah, some people, yeah, not so much. One more delivery down. We're picking up another one from Denny's, where we picked up earlier today for $8 for 1.8 miles. So that's really good. The seat on this bike is killing me. It's so uncomfortable. And I think the reason is it's a normal seat. It's just hard. But because of the, it doesn't seem like you put a lot of weight on the foot pegs. Like it's the way you sit on it. Generally, you have more ability of putting weight on the foot pegs as you ride, so there's not that much weight on the seat. But this one is just, there's nothing on the feet. There's also weird vibration coming from the foot pegs. Normally, I would think that this bike would be completely smooth, but there's a little buzziness through the handlebars, a little buzziness in the foot pegs. And this is something that you only get to experience if you ride a bike for long periods. All right, we have another one, Five Guys. Yeah, I'll take that. So that delivery from Danny's, it was only like 0.9 miles away. Not even, I think it was 0.4. It was right across the street. Danny's is like here, and the person that ordered is like right over there. So that was easy. And now we're gonna pick up a Five Guys. It looks like the rain is gone, but I'm telling you, the seat on this is just so uncomfortable. Well, that was a weird event. The bag was just so soft it completely flew out. So now, I don't know if I'm even going to get paid about that or what type of review I'm going to get. We have some fries. I was hoping that she would go, yeah, just refund me. But she wanted the burger. I was going to eat the burger, even though I'm not big into like meat. I was gonna eat it. I'm not gonna it just hit the ground. I told her that. She still wants to eat it. Man, that sucks. That's awkward too. And I had a $20 offer that I was gonna go and get, and I lost it. It took too long, so boom, I lost everything. So I just went at this front Royal Farms to pick up, and I saw the guy actually is behind me now. He had this exact same order, and apparently like she canceled twice or something. So he got the order and I got nothing. But the order was there, but apparently she canceled twice or something. He's coming over here too. I wonder if he's going to be getting this order too, because it was kind of weird. So the delivery that I picked up was from Chipotle, and then it had a double. It was a stacked order, and the Royal Farms, the guy took it. It was $15. Now, this is the danger of getting a stacked order like that. That seems juicy, $15, it's worth it. They always stack a terrible order in it, and I got the terrible order. I should have just canceled. As soon as that guy picked up the order, I should have just canceled. That was not worth it. So, you know how much I had to do the other delivery for? $2.30. Here's another 15, another driver match so quickly that, yeah, that's crazy that people actually want you to like take a meal to their homes for $2.30. But this is how Uber dicks you. Look, this is it, $2.30. The estimate for this trip was $2.30. That's so crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You see that? $12 for two. Oh yeah, that sounds good. That's going to be a big turd in there. And Uber does that. Uber likes to do that, so avoid it. Anyway, I think I'm pretty much done with this. The bikes, this seat is just so uncomfortable. I have to wear like bike shorts just to kind of help. It's that uncomfortable. At one order, I'm going to pick up this other one from Amber Spice. This was named after the fat, untalented, unhot Spice Girl. But it's a popular Indian restaurant. This is the first delivery. I bet it's the Indian place because there's a lot of Indians that live in this area. The other delivery is in the same neighborhood. So that's convenient. Stop sign. There you go. I do rolling California stops. Alright, squids, that's the end of the ride. I haven't been doing as many videos before, but stay tuned. I plan on doing more. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.